Let us see the various auxiliary equipments used in hydro power plants. So, in our previous class, we have seen the main parts of hydropower plants. Now, there are some auxiliary equipments that is used in hydro power plant. So, let us have a look on some of the equipments. We have first equipment is governor. It is used to control the force of water which is striking the turbine. Now we know that the electrical load in the system, it fluctuates throughout the day. It may be less in the afternoon and night, and the electrical load is more in the morning and evening. Now what happens when electrical load is fluctuating? The turbine speed also fluctuates, and the frequency of the electrical supply, it keeps changing. But we know that the frequency has to be constant. Hence, the speed of the rotor of alternator has to be constant. In spite of fluctuating load, the speed of alternator has to be constant. And this is achieved by using governor. Next auxiliary equipment we have is water pumps. We know that lot of heat is produced in the bearings of turbine and generators. So what we do is we use pumps and flow the water around the bearings. So here we're using water to cool the bearings of turbines and generators. And to flow this water, we need water pumps. Next auxiliary equipment we have is air compressors. Air compressors, it is used to maintain air pressure to apply brakes. So here air is used to apply brakes. Now we have cooling fans. We know that lot of heat is produced wherever rotation parts are there, and also a lot of heat is produced in switch gears. A switch gear, it is a combination of or a set of measuring instruments, and there is a fashion in which these measuring instruments they work. So wherever current is flowing, a lot of heat is produced. So what we do is we use fans for the ventilation of turbines and switch gears. Also we have oil pumps. Now we know that oils are used for cooling of transformers. So the pumps is required to flow the oil around the transformer so that it cools the transformer. Next we have cranes to lift heavy parts of hydropower plant, we need cranes, or sometimes in the maintenance work, we have to replace some of the parts. So cranes are used to lift heavy parts. Next, we have batteries. We know that in switch gears, we use AC and DC meters to measure various factors like current, power, voltage, frequency. And since these meters are normally digital in nature, we need DC supply for the working of all these meters in switchgear. So this DC supply is given by set of batteries. Next, we have gates and valves. As we know that water and oil is used for the cooling purpose, water for turbine and oil for transformer. So we need to have some gates and valves to control water and oil flow. Now, let us see the working of or the governing of turbine. What is the meaning of governing of turbine? Basically, whenever there is a fluctuation in the load, electrical load, the turbine should rotate at constant speed. Now, this is done by automatically done by governors. We know that the electrical output frequency is constant, and hence it is necessary to maintain the speed of alternator. When load is more, the speed of alternator tend to decrease. When electrical load is less, the alternator speed tend to increase. But the governors, it will control the speed in such a way that the frequency is constant. This is done by a governing mechanism, and this controls the flow of water which is striking the turbine. Since this is an automatic process, hence this is called speed regulation or governing process. Let us see the governor, how it controls the speed of turbine and hence the speed of alternator. The figure shows a governing mechanism. It has basically four it has basically four different parts. On the top, we have a centrifugal governor, that is fly balls. So we have two fly balls, and the two fly balls are directly connected to the drive system, belt drive system from turbine. So if turbine rotates, the belt drive system moves the fly ball or centrifugal governor, and the balls also rotate in the same direction of belt drive. We have second system, that is control valve. In this control valve, we have oil input and oil output. Pressurized oil is entered, and there are two pistons that covers the two pipes which is connected to the servo motor. As you can see that there are two pistons which is covering the two pipes connected to servo motor. This control valve, what it will do is, at any time the oil, either it will go to the top pipes or it will go to the bottom pipe in such a way that it exerts pressure in the servo motor piston. So we have a third system, that is called servo motor system. Here inside this cylinder we have two chambers, right chamber and left chamber. If oil enters in the right chamber, it exerts pressure on the piston and the piston moves to the left. If oil comes from the left pipe, then it enters the left chamber, it exerts pressure on the piston and the piston moves to the right. The piston movement is directly connected to the fourth system, and that is called restoring system. What happens if piston moves to the left side? It closes the nozzle of valve which is controlling the flow of water. So as the nozzle is closed, water which is heating the water turbine is reduced, thereby the speed of turbine reduces. If nozzle is opened, it hits the turbine with more water and the turbine speed increases. Now let us see the working of this governing mechanism. If electrical output is reduced, then our turbine speed increases. If electrical output is reduced, then the turbine speed increases. If turbine speed increases due to the drive system, it moves the fly balls, two fly balls, and the fly balls rotates with a high speed. When fly balls rotates at a high speed, it tends to go upward due to centrifugal force. When these fly balls goes upward, it moves the floating lever up. So due to centrifugal force, balls moves up. In turn, the floating lever which is connected to this centrifugal governor, it moves upward. When this floating lever moves upward, we can see that the two pipes which is connected to control valve, the top pipe, it gets open and oil enters the top pipe, and through top pipe it enters the right side of or right chamber of servo motor. Now this pressurized oil, as soon as it enters right side of or right chamber of servo motor. It exerts pressure to the piston, and piston moves left and closes the nozzle. When nozzle is closed, the water which is hitting the turbine reduces, and hence the speed reduces. So what happens when electrical load reduce? When electrical load was reduced, the speed had increased. Now, because of piston moving and closing the nozzle, the speed had reduced. Thereby, it controls the speed, and which in turn controls the frequency, which has to be constant. Now, when this piston closes the nozzle, there is a fourth mechanism, restoring linkage. So when piston moves left, the restoring linkage will pull down the floating lever. That is the original point. Similarly, when load is more, the turbine speed reduces, thereby floating lever goes down, and we can see that the piston rod moves right side in a similar way, and it opens the nozzle of water flow, and more water flows and hits the turbine, and turbine speed increases. So when turbine, we have seen that when load increased, turbine speed had decreased. Now, because of more water striking the turbine speed again comes back to original speed, thereby controlling the frequency. So this is how a recording, a governor works, and this is called governing of turbine.